Lord of Gifts video. Today I'm going to be reviewing my Mandalorian cosplay from the show Mandalorian, Din Djarin. This cosplay I made back in 2021, so when the show was still doing about, I believe, season 2 or season 3. And so because of that, it has a lot of the features from that part of the show. And so for me, I really enjoyed the show. I thought it had a fun experience. It was a cool little cowboy western set in space. And so I got really attached to the Mandalorian, as many people did. And so with that, I had designed my own cosplay. Funnily enough, I originally intended for it just to be a helmet. And then as I kind of progressed, I built the entire suit. So I'll start with reviewing the helmet, and the helmet is pretty simple. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of different custom Mandalorians. For me, these files were downloaded from Thingiverse for free. All the files actually are from Thingiverse. I found somebody who had created a folder and file collection of a lot of Mandalorian files, and then I found some on my own as well. But this helmet is a relatively simple one, and because it's simple, it actually makes it really easy to sand, which is nice. So that part is really cool. And I printed it in 3 pieces, and so unfortunately my skills back then were not as good. So you can kind of see a little bit of the seams. So there's a cut here on the top of the helmet, so everything below this cut I printed as one piece, kind of oriented the other way around. And then there's a fine cut here as well, and so I split that dome into 2 pieces, and so it was 3 prints. It was relatively easy to print and then put it together, sanded, painted, the whole shebang. And then the faceplate part here is actually a welder's mask. When I did my research, I found that that was the best thing to do for Mandalorian face masks or clone trooper helmets, and it gives that nice tint to it, and it fits the helmet quite well. And so I think the helmet came out really cool. The next thing I printed was the breastplate, and I guess abs, if you can call that abs, but I printed this breastplate into 2 prints, and you can see kind of that slice across the middle there. And I do think the paint has a nice shine to it. Obviously you can kind of see my reflection in it, and one of the things I kind of chose to do that's different than the show is the show kind of gives him more of a gunmetal gray, and I kind of give him more of a chrome look. Obviously this is less screen accurate, but I kind of enjoy it. I think it's cool. It gives it a very metallic feel to it. And you have those ab pieces underneath, and then these pieces can actually kind of pull forward and move and stuff like that. It's just because it's got this belt on that is more locked in place. But every part of the suit that is a 3D printed part is magnetic. You can see this best with the leg pieces because they're really easy to take off. You just pull them off like that, and then you can just attach them back there. And so that whole function works really well because I've been doing cosplay for a little while, and sometimes straps and harnesses can get kind of annoying after a while or don't fit quite right, and so the magnets just make it easy. The only thing you have to worry about with magnets is it can just sometimes fall off a little easy, so you just have to be careful of your movements and make sure you have strong magnets. But the trick with the breastplates was getting this all to fit on one bed plate. It was quite interesting, and it's also a thin part to connect, so it would fall over a lot. So it was a little bit of a struggle, but we got it to work eventually. And then next I printed the shoulder places, and obviously you have these really cool insignia on this shoulder blade, which I like a lot. And then I like that the shoulder blades, I made them so that they can kind of move like this. They're actually magnetically attached to just a little flap underneath, and so it works really well. The flap is stitched to the suit, so there's a ton of movement for the shoulder blades. They don't get in your way at all, and they have a good wrap around the back. I also printed the jetpack, also magnetic. As you can see, it kind of took some damage. One time I was wearing it and it fell off. Still got to repair it, but it did come out really well. I like the look of it. I'll get to it more in a second. The shoulder blade over here is much of the same, just without the insignia. Same flaps, same attachment mechanism, same kind of thing. Here's another look at the jetpack a little bit. And then we have the gauntlets, and so the gauntlets are different on each side, right? Because we've got these that can shoot their little, I guess you'd call them like rocket bullets almost, self-tracking. And then you have this one that's a little different in design, but both of these were just printed as one solid piece that you can just slide onto your wrist and slide off. Same with this one. For me, it worked out perfectly. They stay there, they don't fall off, and they're not too impossible to get on. And then you have just the leg covers, which are pretty basic and pretty simplistic, but nonetheless cool. But yeah, and then the entire undersuit, I'm not one for like sewing or stitching or doing that kind of stuff. I only really know 3D printing, painting, that kind of stuff, and I guess electrical work. But so what I did is I bought a simple, I would say relatively cheaper cosplay of the Mandalorian, which had more of a this kind of style to the silvery parts. So you can kind of see like how they did it. It's just kind of like stitched cloth that had a chrome look to it. And so pretty much everywhere that was present, I just replaced with 3D printed parts to make it look more whole and more true to screen accurate. So I would say it's came together pretty well. And with that, we also have the dark saber. So the dark saber in the Clone Wars kind of has this more rectangular look to it, and then in the show they gave it a more kind of slightly cylindrical look. I'm more of a fan of this look because to me, I grew up with the Clone Wars, so I like it a lot. But this also just simply magnetically attaches, so you can see it's got these two magnets that, because it's painted chrome, kind of blend in, and they just attach the belt pretty easily like that. And it hangs pretty well. And this whole lightsaber piece was printed in a resin printer, so it's all solid resin, so it's pretty actually heavy to the touch. It's got that nice chrome reflection to it, and then hand painted with the black. So I think it came out really cool, and it's really fun to swing around and have as a prop for that. And so I like the dark saber. It has some nice detail because the resin is able to get just a ton of that detail and smoothness to it. So it even has that igniter here at the top. Let's see if I can get a better focus on that. Yep. And so it has some fun detail. I think the paint job came out well. I like the chrome. I love the weight of it. And my favorite part is it just attaches super easy. And then speaking of resin printer, I also have his pistol here in the holster. And so let me see if I can get that out. Might be a little difficult with my... So here's the pistol all out of its holster. A solid resin print as well, printed into a couple compartments and hand painted. I think it came out really well. It fits really nice. It's fun to look down the sights and do that kind of thing. It has a fun weight to it. It's tons and fun to spin in your hand. I actually spun it once and broke it once, and so I had to reprint it, but it was a lot of fun. I think this print came out super cool. It's a really fun pistol to have, and it really works with the cosplay, especially for posing. I think it came out really, really cool. So it's fun to just have these cool little accessories and just being able to fit them into the cosplay and into the suit. It's really fun to integrate and make your own. And then along with that, the cosplay does have his cape, and obviously when he wears the jetpack, he kind of puts it to the side, like I have it here standing. But sometimes when you take the jetpack off, usually like the way I like to cosplay it is with the jetpack off and then just the cape, because the jetpack can be a little cumbersome. But overall, I'm really happy with how the cosplay came out. I just put it on my mannequins. I built these PVC mannequins that have duct tape and kind of like, I guess, what you'd find in a pillow, like little packing foam, and so that they can stay in my room. And then, as you might have noticed, I have them kind of with my lightsaber display set up, so that part's pretty cool. So yeah, this is my Mandalorian cosplay. I hope you guys liked it. If you want any tutorials or links to any of these files, let me know. I'd be happy to get those for you. I hope you guys have fun building your own cosplays, and let me know what you think of mine.